Greetings from New York City. My name is Malcolm. I'm 39 years old. I've been on the Primal diet for 12 years, and it saved my life, and I would not be sitting here talking to you tonight were it not for the Primal diet, ladies and gents. Um, my posting here came about as a result of me finding, well, really, to be honest, over the years, the Primal diet has received a lot of bashing on different Yahoo sites and different raw foods, natural food groups. And I finally came across one or two in particular, but one really in particular, um, really kind of an arrogant dismissal of the primal diet. And we got into a little bit of a dialogue. Uh, when I say a little bit, it was very much a little bit because there's really not a whole lot there on the other end. Um, we got into a bit of a dialogue. Uh, And one of the things that he claimed was that there was really not a lot of people who claimed to have been on the primal diet for a long period of time with success who've posted videos of themselves. And after a little bit of research, I realized that on that point, he's right. There really isn't. So here I am. And I posted a little bit, some of you might have read under Josh1270, just because that's a spam account I have. My middle name is Josh. And I really had no intention of posting. So I used that account when I set up the YouTube account. But now I've created this, the Raw Base 8 account, and that's for my posting in regards to this. I follow the Primal diet pretty much to a T. There is a misconception about, and I can't speak for Agenus, but there is a misconception about the use of cooked foods inside of the Primal diet, which, if I'm not mistaken, was phased out fairly early after We Want to Live. Any good diet, any good nutritional, any good kind of health plan goes through a refinement, through an evolution. Again, not speaking for Agenus. Throughout the years, that book was written, I'm guessing, estimating 15 to 20 years ago. And any health practice goes through refinements and improvements. And I believe that cooked foods were made not part of the plan early on after that book was read. So anyone claiming that anyone on the primal diet is eating cooked foods, so how could they really claim to have success on a true raw foods diet, obviously hasn't researched the primal diet, because anyone on the primal diet for the last 10 years or so will tell you, most people will tell you that they don't eat cooked foods. I can't speak for everyone, of course, because I don't know everyone. But in my case, that certainly has been the case. 12 years of nothing but raw foods. And detoxifications that brings and improvements that I never really imagined were possible from being as sick as I was. Quick rundown was that it started with gallstones. Not having any health insurance, I ignored that for a while, lived with the pain of gallstones for 2 or 3 years. Finally went in to look into getting my gallbladder removed at St. Vincent's Hospital in the Village. Was kept waiting for 3 hours by a surgeon, and within 60 seconds, literally, of being in her office, she said, "We'll just take out your gallbladder. How's Friday?" And like flipped through her Rolodex, and that was that. And of course, I didn't do that, and left. And it led me to exploring, trying to find a natural way to get my body back in alignment and get my gallbladder working again, cleared out and working again. And that led me to trying macrobiotic diet. It led me to trying applied kinesiology with a supplement program, a brief stint with raw vegan, raw vegetarian, which, to be honest, wasn't long enough to really note any positive change or any negative result either. I really wasn't on it long enough to really comment on that. And eventually got led to a nutritional doctor out in Brighton Beach, Brooklyn, who told me about this guy Alginus out in Malibu, who, when he had written We Want to Live, had put 236 out of 240 cases of cancer into remission just through diet, just through this raw diet, including himself. There's more to my story inside of all this time, but I'll skip all that. Anyway, basically, I read We Want to Live and found that here was a guy who had really lived it. more so than anybody that I had gone to see who had a plaque on his wall and wasn't really offering any good advice other than just to keep bombarding myself with unnatural possibilities, unnatural quote unquote solutions. So I read the book and I knew that it was a path I wanted to explore. And you know, um, my first experience with raw animal food was a raw tuna steak. And I have to say that, I sat down and ate it. And, I had never even been out for sushi, anything like that, because I was very, like most people, um, had accepted the bacteria theory, the parasite theory, that whole thing. So I sat down to eat it, and I wasn't miraculously cured, but I certainly digested better than anything, including fruit, including vegetables, anything that I had eaten in like the last 2 years. So that's sort of my short introduction into that, and I kept exploring it, and I would say it took about a year of detoxing and strengthening to really get back to being a regular, feeling like a regular person and being a regular person, and then it only got better and stronger from there, and that was 12 years ago. Um, the other thing is that I'm a professional musician. I've been a professional musician for probably about 8 years before that, well, maybe 5 years before that. Um, so I've been certainly in a lot of unhealthy environments. It's just an occupational hazard. There's cigarette smoke, which luckily is dwindling as places make it illegal. But there's cigarette smoke. There's onstage smoke. There's constant barrage of traveling. Sometimes in poor circumstances. I can't even begin to count the amount of flights I've been on, which are not good. Being in an airplane is obviously not the healthiest environment for a variety of different reasons. Um, and some people would still say I still look very young for my age, and I look very healthy. So that's a testament to me to be through an illness that I've been through, but also I've been through a career of less than optimal healthy environment for working. Um, to me, it says a lot about the diet, and I certainly feel great. And I'll certainly be doing this for the rest of my life. And with all of the hardship that I've gone through in the past, I'd do it all again to be where I am now and to have the information that I have now to be my own doctor and occasionally be able to help people out to find their way, which may not necessarily be my way or the primal diet way, but to find a way, a more natural way of living, a more natural way of thinking, a more natural way of eating, and a more natural way of caring for their body. Um, so I thank you for listening. For those of you that have listened, um, I'm happy to share. I'd love to have a communication conversation with anyone willing to have intelligent conversation. You can leave the arrogance at home, um, and feel free to contact me whenever. All right, all the best. Take care.